Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Miniart. It's a 135 scale kit, and we get here the M3 Stuart in its late production version. But what is even more important is that we have this small sign here, so it means we are getting interior kit, and it also means that we are getting a lot of things to be installed inside. It might be a useful thing for the diorama builders, or maybe for placement of the figurines inside so that they will not be sitting in the empty vehicle. And of course, what I have here on the table, it's the final shape of this release. So if you order it, for example, from Modelimex, the kit number 35429 will be exactly the same as what you will see in this video review. And first of all, I have to note that the box size is surprisingly small, so it's a thin box, and usually in the thin boxes Miniart packs the versions without the interior, but here we have the internals, and here you can see comparison with my hand. So we have also a quite nice box art here. We also have the short list of the features. And here on the side you can see the information about the manufacturer, also some safety advices, while on the opposite side you can see also the small note that the decals are coming from Cartograph. And here we have also 5 marking options, which are surprisingly different and various, I would say, so you'll definitely find something what can be replicated in your case. So this is a top opening box, and as you can see, it is filled up to the top. So if you have a chance to ask seller to pack it carefully, do so, because otherwise you might end up with some unpleasant surprises. Or if you're buying it in the shop, of course, open the box and try to check what is there. So my plastic bag was actually opened from the side, which is, I'm laughing because usually it is sealed, but here it is sealed, but not from one side. But okay, so I'm going to open another plastic bag which is inside. This one is dedicated to the clear plastic frame and also PE parts. And frankly speaking, I'm not sure why Miniart decided to abandon the envelope. I mean, I understand that it will be possibly cutting the prices down and other stuff, but packing the clear parts with the PE thread is not the best thing to have in the plastic kit, obviously. So here we start with the clear parts. And maybe I will place them like this and zoom in. So here you can see that we have quite nice molding quality. All parts are looking clear and crisp, so I don't think you'll have any issues here. It's the only thing to, let's say, care about is the masking, because masks are not supplied in this kit, so you'll have to cut them with your own hands and tools, or maybe find some aftermarket set. But frankly speaking, I'm not sure if somebody even producing the aftermarket for this tank in terms of the masking sheets. Next we continue with quite a useful upgrade or update, I'm not sure how to call it, but this is an item which is coming as a standard bonus. So this is a PE thread, and for the interior kit it comes even more handy because it helps you to replicate some tiny parts inside, so you definitely find the use. And as you can see, even meshes are replicated with PE parts, and this is actually something what adding the finesse, let's say, for the 135 scale kit, so that's why it is a valuable add-on. And then we have the decals. So the decals are coming from Cartograph, as you remember. We have also the separate section here for the interior, which is a quite handy thing. As you can see, when it's not interior, they're just cutting it off. But overall, we have, as you remember, 5 marking options, so it's a quite nice choice for a 135 scale kit. Next, I'm going to try to remove the plastic sprues without spreading them around my room, so just give me a second. As usual for Miniart, they are quite, I would say, well known for their love to the small frames, and this kit is not an exclusion from this rule. But here we get them interconnected. So as you can see, what I'm placing on the table is actually connected with the middle tab altogether. So that's why they will not be, well, they should not be flying around the box. And moreover, this interconnection comes in 2 pieces. So here is the second one. And here we have some interior parts as well as the drivetrain parts. So for example, here you can see the track sections, and this is really cool to have the plastic tracks in this kit. We have really good surface details, and we also have some guiding elements here, so it will be easier to align them together. I can zoom in so that you can understand what I'm talking about. Then we have also one-piece road wheels. So for the road wheels, well, they are molded together with the rubber sections. This is something what you will not be able to avoid. And because of this, you should be also careful while painting everything together. But I think it's doable. The only thing is that it will be a bit tedious task because you have to assemble the drivetrain bogies separately. And it takes some time, to be honest. So be ready for this. Next, we continue with engine, which is supplied on the sprue C. So here we have quite nice engine out of the box, and as you remember, Stuart is famous for its radio engine, so here it is. And also it might be a good idea to replicate some wiring here, but this is already on your decision because it will require some references, and also it will require some metal wire from you because obviously it's not included in the standard plastic. Next we have the sprue for transmission, and also again for the engine compartment, and again everything looks quite fine here, so you just need to assemble these parts together and you'll be good to go. And by the way, from the opposite side you can see also some guiding elements, so this is quite a smart design of the kit, and usually Miniart sets are quite good in this sense because they give you a chance to build everything with the more or less precise application or installation. I'm just checking whether this sprue is actually coming in two pieces, and it does. So here we have various stowage boxes, and as you can notice, the stowage boxes are actually molded with the side wedges, so you won't be able to open them without the slight modification. But I saw some modelers actually replacing this with the scratch build things. So if you are up for such task, then definitely go for it, because it might be useful to show one of the boxes open. Here we have some of the interior parts, and note the molding quality of these parts are quite tiny, but the quality of the features on them is really good. Next, we continue with the radio equipment and the jerry can. So I will just place it like this. Now you can see what I'm talking about. So the jerry can is always welcome. Some manufacturers try to sell it separately, but here we have it as the standard bonus, and this is something what I like about Miniart. They don't try to play around with you and sell some basic stuff as the separate bonuses. They just give it in the standard package. And next we continue with the mud guards. So these ones are coming as one-piece parts. We have also some pre-molded features on them, and here from the opposite side, as you can see, also rivets are present. So this is not just some plain part without any details from the opposite side because they are not visible. Next we continue with more of the interior parts. I'm not sure where this stuff will be going. Obviously some of them will go into the fighting compartment, but I see that some of the elements should also go into the engine compartment as well. For example, here we have some tanks. And again, even the smallest parts are looking great. The only thing is their installation, because in some cases they're very tiny, for example here, and you have to use tweezers because otherwise it's a small nightmare to get them into the right spot. Next, just give me a second to place this frame aside. Next we continue with the mudguards gain. So this one's also, or this sprue actually includes also the headlamp cases here, and we also get the separate hatches. So everything looks quite nice here, and the only thing is to properly weather it, because all of these rivets just beg for some weathering, maybe with the pre-shading, maybe with some dry brushing, maybe with something else, but this is already your decision. Next we have the turret parts. So as you remember, we have the interior kit here, so that's why we have the interior panels molded separately, but we also have the separate hatches on the turret, which is also useful for showing what is inside. And as you can see, interior features on the walls are nicely detailed, so it's just a matter of checking some references in order to understand how they were actually painted on the actual tank. And now I just need to place this frame aside, and we continue with the sprue B. This one is dedicated to the mix of armament. If you look into the upper right corner here, you can see several types of the main gun, also some machine guns, and also here we have the mantlet cover, and everything looks quite fine. It's obviously nice to have the main gun molded as a single piece part, because such design will help you get a bit more convincing appearance. And again, for some modelers it will be more than enough, and they will not have to buy some separate aftermarket sets. Here we continue with the Pioneer tools, another nice bonus, and note that they are provided in 2 versions, so it means that one part or one half will go into your spare parts box. This is really cool. And why we have the tools without the clamps? Because we can also replicate the clamps with the PE parts. We will see it later in the assembly manual. Next, we also have some parts for the lower hull section, but here is nothing special. I would say the rivets are looking good. What is interesting is the hull panels on the sprue A. This is the last one and one of the biggest. So here, as you can see, due to the boxy design, obviously, we have the hull separated into plenty of panels, and we also have really generous riveting on them. And also, if I flip over these parts, we have the interior features pre-molded on them, so it might be a bit of work with the fine brush, but I think it should be worth it, because as a result you will get a really good looking interior in such a small tank. Even though it's a 1/35 scale, I think it's very compact. And next we have the assembly manual. And on the assembly manual, on the cover, we have the short list of the features. It's written that there are 6 marking options, so we will see in the assembly manual. And all hatches can be assembled in open position, of course. Here you can see the first 2 marking options on this page, and then we have the parts map. And as usual, Miniart does not show which parts are unused, so pay attention to this. Especially if you remember, we have some parts provided in several versions. So that's why it's important to keep tracking which parts you actually need. Next, we start with the floor panel, and well, obviously a lot of interior parts are going inside, and some PE parts are already engaged here. And I can see some advices also on the thin parts being installed here and there. So it's also a good idea to plan the paint work in advance and pre-paint some parts all together by batches, because this way you will be able to have them properly painted, and you won't have a really complex let's say situations when it's really hard to reach them. Here on this page you can see the engine assembly, and it takes several pages and then getting installed into the engine compartment, obviously. Then here you can see the sidewalls for the lower hull section. And also we start working on the machine gun, which will be installed inside, obviously. We can also open the rear doors, or we can close them, whatever you prefer. Next we continue with the hatches, which can be also opened. And then we have here the various equipment being installed here and there. Again, some hatches are shown that they can be opened if you need. Here we will also need the metal wire. The thickness is not specified, but I guess you will have just to guess by this mounting point, and then it will be okay, but at least the length is provided here. Next we start working on the drivetrain, so that's the part which will be a bit tedious. It will take some time for sure, but the final result should be a good looking tank with the plastic tracks inside. Or around. And next we continue with the mudguards. So the mudguards choice will depend on the marking you will choose, so pay attention to this as well. And there are a lot of PE parts being engaged, so this is also a bit of a tricky stuff to install, but again, the PE parts in 1/35 scale is a very rewarding thing, so that's why I'm always encouraging them. As you can see, there are again some wiring instructions provided, and again there is no thickness or anything mentioned. Next we continue with the main gun, so obviously it is installed into the turret. And here we have some assembly options for the hatches. And next we have also some pictures of the repair crew and another kit from the same tank series. Here you can see another pair of the marking options, and another pair is here, so 6 in total. And we have the colors chart in various manufacturer designations, so it's easy to find whatever paints you use. And overall, I think it's a great addition to the collection of the tank span. So if you would like to have your own Stuart in 1/35 scale, then definitely go for it, because here you are getting not only the nice tank model, but also interior parts and a lot of useful bonuses out of the box. And of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion, so do not forget to write it here in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.